and happy Tuesday. It is Sip and Tip Tuesday, guys, and I'm so glad you guys are back. I am Gabrielle Victoria, and welcome to my channel. Welcome to this segment. If you haven't already, like and subscribe so you can stay in the know with all the latest content. So this week on Sip and Tip Tuesday, I'm going to give you guys just a quick recap. So far, we've talked about self-care and we've talked about fear. Both very, very, very important. Both things that we all deal with. Today is a little bit different, so I'm going to get into the sip first, and then we can get into the tip, because I think it's a little twist on what we may think is a normal tip. Okay, here we go. So this sip of the week is something I have concocted. It's not your typical drink, but it's rainy outside, y'all. It is cold in this house. It's overcast. It's really nasty. So I was in the mood for tea. I was in the mood for something warm and sweet. And so I took a cinnamon apple spice tea and I threw in some Martinelli's apple juice, warmed it up in the microwave to make a nice little cider, added some honey for sweetness, and this bad boy has been giving me life all morning. It is so good. It's so good. So I'm gonna leave the recipe for you guys, for anyone who likes apple cider, anyone who likes good little sweet tea, but it's warm. This is your drink, okay? Sip of the week. So let's get into our tip of the week. Our tip of the week is rain. I know I said that it was raining outside, and so don't look at me crazy. Don't look at me crazy. I'm not talking about raindrops falling on my head. I'm talking about the rain that happens in our lives. And as I woke up this morning to hear the sounds of the rain, I have been going through a little bit of a rainy season myself, if I'm being honest with you. And so it inspired me this morning to think about what topic I was going to talk to you guys about. And I felt like rain was a really great metaphor for a lot of change, growth, perspective, and overall just feelings and emotions. Rain encompasses all of that, I believe. So when we think of rain, sometimes people have good thoughts, we have happy thoughts, dancing in the rain, singing in the rain. Rain can also be really dreary and cloudy and sad and overwhelming. So rain can represent a bunch of different things, and I want to talk to the rain that we may sometimes perceive as sadness and storms and challenges and overwhelm, because we're in a time that is so uncertain. We're in a time that is so literally bananas that we have to know how to manage, how to think about, how to reposition our minds when it comes to those rainy seasons, right? So tip number one on how to deal with rain: let it soothe you. So there is a beauty in rain. We all know that rain comes for a very specific reason, but in the human realm, a lot of people use the sounds of rain to soothe them. It helps them sleep, helps them be calm, helps them generate peace of mind. And I look up the psychology behind rain. And the reason that people use sounds of rain for meditation and for calm and for sleeping is because rain triggers something in our mind that senses off a non-threatening signal. And it allows us to relax. It allows us to be unarmed and disarmed. And so when rain comes in your life, I know it's quick for us to get on our defense. It's quick for us to want to fight it and want to redirect so quick. But allow that rain, the sounds of rain, everything that's going on around you that you may not understand, allow it to soothe you. Find calm, find peace in that moment that you realize the rain has now come. Take that moment, breathe it in, let it sink in, and also allow it to cleanse you. While it's soothing you, while you're breathing it in, embracing it, understanding it, let it cleanse you. I relate this to crying. So just like we believe the clouds are crying and that's why we get the rain outside, crying on the inside is a sense of soothe and therapy and release. So my tip number one is when the rain comes, the first moment you feel the rain coming in your life, let it soothe you. So tip number two is let it remind you So rain is all about perspective, as we know. It can be a lot of different things. But let it remind you, when rain comes on a natural sense, when it's raining outside, what is it doing? It's refilling our streams and our riverbeds, and it's, you know, filtering out some impurities in the air and in the water. It comes to replenish. It comes to nurture growth in the soil and the ground and the rocks and the sand. It comes to do all of those things. So let that be a reminder to you. Whatever was going on previous to the rain, there's a reason that the rain has now come. It's come to refill. It's come to replenish. It's come to hydrate. It's come to cleanse through. So allow that to be a reminder that this is happening for a positive reason, and that something from this is a needed process. It's so necessary for me. It's so necessary. As we live our own stories, it's hard for us to see the picture when we're in the frame. And sometimes outside forces and life will happen that we didn't calculate for. And rain sometimes can be one of those uncalculated things that happens, but we know that it always happens for a reason. Everything that happens in life is destiny. Every single occurrence is predestined, and so it has a specific play in all of our lives. Tip number 2 is let it remind you. Tip number 3, and our final tip, is let it inspire you. Rain is beautiful. Rain, if you hear it, it sounds great. We know what it does after it finishes raining. And what happens after it rains? You see rainbows, or the sun will come out. You know, you always hear that after the rain, the sun will come out. But after the rain, there's always that fresh air that you walk into and you can smell the newness. After it rains, you can smell the plants and the trees and the wind, and it's almost like a refreshing, like, okay, let me exhale. And a lot of ways the rain comes after it's cleansed, it creates new surfaces. It may wash away some dirt, and you have a new clean slate. And so the way that we can translate that into our lives is after something horrible, traumatic, stressful, something anxiety-inducing, after any of those things happen and the rain has come, what happens after that? There's room to grow. There's room to be able to breathe again and to have a clean slate. And now it's a new, fresh, re-energized version of yourself. That you weathered the storm, you went through the rain, you let it soothe you, you were reminded of its purpose, and now let it inspire you now. There's new growth, there's new ideas, new visions, there can be new opportunities, new relationships, new friendships, anything that is beautiful, that is good, that makes you happy. Those are the things that are possible after the rain. And we have to remember that, because sometimes while we're in the rain, it just seems dreary and hopeless, and you just want to ball up and put a comforter over your head and go to sleep. Trust me, I know. And I'm speaking to myself as I'm speaking to you. When the rain comes in our lives, and things happen that we don't like, things happen that we don't understand, things happen that we might not even think is fair, it's rain. And it's only there for the betterment of you. And it's always destiny at the end of the day. Rain is a necessity for life. It has to happen. It has to. And you were made to weather the storm. I was made to weather the storm, and we can do it together. You can do it as long as you remember and you understand and you open your mind to the why. And that may come through meditation, it may come through prayer, it may come through your faith, it may come through a friend, it may come through any form of hope. But just remember that you can weather the rain. And the rain is not meant to wash you away, but it's really meant to wash away maybe some of the circumstances that were cluttering your vision. And now you have new sight. So keep that in mind. I hope those 3 tips helped you. They helped me. I've been going through a little bit of a rainy season as this quarantine has affected my life and affected my way of living and my career. But I have to keep in mind, this was my reminder for myself that rain is okay. Thank you guys for tuning in to this week's Sip and Tip Tuesday. I promise you this drink is going to make you smile. And I hope you guys have an amazing week. So until the next time, happy sip and tip.